It's a little video for anybody looking to get into marketing. You might have questions about what you want to do, what to do. There's a lot of directions to go. So we're going to talk about people that are good with analytics and very analytically minded, or if you're an extrovert, there's a really great place for you as well, or if you really like writing copy. Let's get into some of the specifics, but first, you consider subscribing. I make videos about marketing quite frequently. I do reviews on our ad agency we're building and how it's going, what progress is being made, usually done quarterly. If you're having a conversation with somebody about marketing, I want to get into marketing, I want to be a marketer, man, it just means so many different things. There's even the same job as like a paid media manager can have a lot of different scenarios where you can do that job. You can work for a brand, you can work as an affiliate, you can work at a digital marketing agency. Even there's 3 roles in each. If you want to manage social media, does it mean that you're managing paid media, or does it mean that you're managing organic? Are you going to get involved in SEO, or do you like paid? There's so many different avenues that this industry can have. So trying to create a framework here to help you narrow down what you're interested in. At the highest level, if you consider yourself an analytical person, that's one direction to go. So let's start talking about that. If you're analytically minded and you just have a more of an understanding of analytics and you're interested in it, which is a very big part of this, because if you're not interested in this stuff, don't move on to another part of marketing, because there's so many different avenues. If you're analytically minded, you have to ask yourself if you like pressure. If you want the pressure to succeed on you, that matters greatly because it impacts the type of roles you're going to succeed in. So if you're okay with dealing with some pressure, that leads you more towards maybe media buying. It's kind of a roller coaster. There's plenty more opportunity. There's plenty of opportunity there because you're getting commissions as well. Usually, if you're at a proper agency like ours, we give commissions to our media buyers, and they're in an opportunity to make money based on their performance. So you can get motivated in that way, but it also comes with pressure, because if performance starts to go down for some brands, they're going to start talking to you about it. How about that? How about that?
Catch me outside.
Oh, wow. I might leave that one in. If you like dealing with pressure, because there's pressure on performance marketing. That's what our agency, Attention Agency, does, is performance marketing. So it comes with a lot of pressure. If performance is great, there's a lot less pressure. If performance is bad, you're going to have to work really hard to bring it back, but you get paid for that effort when it succeeds. So, but if you don't want to deal with the pressure, but you really like dealing with performance and metrics and analytics, well, you could either maybe work in a brand where you become a marketing director or VP of marketing, and you've got a lot of say about the direction of what's going on, and you read the analytics and make decisions about what direction to go, where to spend the media. There's probably a lot less pressure there from an external standpoint. You don't have 10 clients coming at you all the time talking about what you're doing in the account, why you're not doing good in the account, or what needs to change, or patting you on the back and saying good job. It's more one company and a team working together, but you still have responsibilities to manage and monitor all the performance that's coming in. It just won't be as cutthroat, because it likely is cutthroat because you won't be managing that many accounts, and it likely won't have as much to do with performance, unless you're internal as a media buyer. If you're internal as a marketing manager, you'll be managing the agency doing that, but you won't be doing it yourself. If you're managing the paid media internally, it will be you having responsibility for that one brand, which might be less. That will still have plenty of pressure. It might be less though, because it's only one account. Whereas if you're a marketing manager, you'll still deal with analytics, you'll still deal with reporting, you'll still talk to the CEO and leadership team about what's happening and give reports on that, but you won't be the person responsible dealing with the stress of performance. It'll be your job to crack the whip and make sure that the team is performing well. Okay? So those are differentiations right there. So if you want to deal with the stress and make commissions, go that route. If you want to maybe try and get some equity and build yourself up in a brand and you don't have paid media desires, stay away from paid media, internal and external agency or not. And then also try and stay away, go towards internal, being a marketing manager, VP of marketing, you'll have to dive really deep in LTV to CAC ratios and marketing efficiency ratios and looking at CPAs and attribution. Still a lot to learn in all these roles. Just about kind of the pressure element that makes up, but there's not as much commission internally for that kind of thing as well, if any. Probably no commission for your paid media efforts there. Something to take into consideration. You could also do freelance if you wanted to be a freelance paid media buyer as well. So there's a lot of opportunities if you want to go into paid media. That's a good explanation of them. It's a good explanation of what roles might look like in the performance marketing side at a direct-to-consumer brand, managing internal conversations. So if you're not really as keen on some of the performance side of the business, you can get into the organic side of the business. And there's a lot of aspects there that you can be involved in. You can do content creation, content marketing, SEO, backlink construction. I mean, that industry alone. You could get into CRO, which is conversion rate optimization, looking at websites and improving their conversion rate, improving their click-throughs, improving their performance, driving more sales. And maybe that's a way that you like analytics, and you can test different lines of copy that you come up with and you decide is a good idea and run the test, see how A does versus B, and then push B live because it performed better. That kind of stuff can be very interesting as well. Or you could run into content construction, and you like to write. Maybe you write some blog posts, or you edit blog posts that you have a third party write, and you post them, and you find internal links and external links and build up the ecosystem of a blog. And it's your responsibility to procure photos or work with photographers that make photos for you or videos for you that go in the blog posts. Or maybe you're managing the podcast that goes along with that blog post as well. Your job would be orchestrating these blog posts, posting them, editing them, making sure you're engaging in the comments and that kind of thing. You know, you could also manage social media. If you don't want to deal with the performance side, you could just focus on posting social media posts for people organically and managing their social media profile, engaging, growing the account. That's something that you would probably have to report on metrics to your team. But now we're getting less and less into the analytics as we go down that direction. There's a lot to be done in the SEO side, and it's a lot of manual work, and you're constantly validating your efforts. It's slower going than performance marketing, so you'll want to get really good at understanding the back end metrics as well, because you'll have to report on yourself and all your happenings. And the same thing with organic as well. It's a little less intense though, because you're getting good engagement, and your account's growing, or it's not, and they like the work that you're putting out. They like the posts, the social posts that you're putting out, or they don't. And you can either do that for yourself as with SEO or organic social management, or you can work at an agency, or you can work at a brand. So you freelance, you can go into an agency, you can go to a brand, all that kind of stuff. So there's various different options for you. Then you can also do the production side. If you wanted to, let's say you're not very analytical. You don't want to manage a social media account. You want to create things. Well, that would probably mean you need to get into photography and videography. And now you're going to be making ads. So that would mean working at an agency, largely at an agency to start. And then you can work yourself into a brand. It's going to be very challenging to get a job at a brand producing content if you've never done it. However, you can go to a startup brand, and if they have the equipment and you don't have any money, if they have the equipment, they could give you a job, and you could start making the content yourself in that company, and you save all this stuff, and you build a book and make a website for yourself, and then you can have that as your resume and grow and get into a bigger agency maybe, or a bigger brand, and suddenly you've got some clout behind the kind of ads that you're making and your experience, and get to leverage that to bigger and better opportunities, and that's perfectly fine as well. But a lot of people want to be in the creative world, so you have a lot of competition. And if you're going to really succeed in the creative side of the business and make yourself happy financially, you need to get really good, and you need to work with better brands, and you need to push yourself to have the skill set that people want, and you need to produce work that's effective. And if you're at an agency, you need to do way more than you're expected to, because you want to be sure that the assets you're making are getting tested and run and performing. And if they're not, you want to always be the person that's making the ads that perform the best. If it's on the performance marketing side, or if it's on the organic side, it's the ads that everyone likes the best. That's the goal for sure, is to have the most effective or best liked creatives. and that there's internal game of propping yourself up that you have to play, the office politics with that to advance and become a creative director for sure. But you can't really do that unless you have some skills and you've done the work yourself in that industry. So if none of that really sounds interesting, like hands-on work, you don't want to go build backlinks, and you don't want to post social media, and you don't want to load Facebook ads and optimize them and deal with the stress that comes with that. You can run into account management, which is and become a strategist. The long-term vision there is becoming a strategy person, where you understand MER, LTV, CAC ratios, CPAs. You understand how to buy traffic on all the platforms because you're talking about it all the time. You still have to learn all this stuff, but maybe you just don't want to deal with the stress, so you become a strategist. And you could be the person, rather than being like the VP of marketing at a company, which is what that role could eventually get to. You go from account coordinator or marketing manager all the way up to VP and CMO type of thing. At an agency, it would be something like a strategist, which would probably start as an account manager. So you would come in and be talking to clients about what they're experiencing with their back end and their performance marketing as well. Are they profitable or not? And suggesting ideas for promos and sales, and making strategic changes, discussing the changes being made internally with the Facebook teams or Pinterest teams or Google teams, whatever it might be, creative teams, what assets are working, what aren't, auditing accounts to make sure that you understand what's working and what's not. You'll need to get a good depth of knowledge on all these kind of accounts, all these kind of platforms that run, understand all the metrics that you possibly can, become a true expert in analytics here, because you're not responsible necessarily for it, but you're leading the strategic discussions ultimately, and decision making at the highest level as a CMO. You're making the strategic decisions about what to do, so you need to understand the metrics that come along with all this stuff. And if so anyway, that's a vision for somebody who doesn't want to do the hands-on dirty work, but they want to be part of the strategy and communication, like talking to people. There's roles for you there as well. That's a good breakdown for people that are analytical, are creative, aren't either of those, but are very communicative extroverts. There's opportunities for all of you. Hopefully this video gives you a good idea of like where to look, what kind of platforms to go for. I will say the last note that I'll give as advice, hopefully this is going to people that are a little bit lost and looking for help in what to do for marketing, but you got to focus on one thing. So anybody who's coming in talking about how they know Facebook and they know Google and they know Pinterest and they know SEO and they can write blog content and they know how to post on organic and they know how to do videography and photography, I have no interest in hiring that person. When you're especially looking for an agency or you're looking for a brand, it's unlikely that they're going to really care about your depth, your width of your experience. They want depth in one subject. So choose. If you really are more interested in Facebook because it has a video component and you like split testing creatives and writing copy and reloading ads, it's more active maybe, go in that direction. If you like the idea of keywords and optimizing that way, or display assets, you go in that direction. If you like writing and you like the idea of building backlinks and driving value through blogs and content production, go that way. If you're more creative, choose videography or choose photography. I mean, you have to choose one and get great at it, and that's how you become the expert. You can still learn everything else, and you don't have to be an expert in it. You can learn it, but you need to be an expert in one of these things. So choose one, and then when you're ready to go on your next stop in your journey, whatever it might be, and you go talk to somebody and say, hey, I'm an expert in Google Ads, you're so much easier to buy because I can slide that card into my hand really, really well. I know just where to put this person, and you become very valuable that way. Or if you're an expert in client communication and managing clients, I know just where to put you. Okay, you're being VP of client services, like this is a perfect spot for you type of thing. So develop your skill set in one of the areas. And if you want to learn another, if you're in a position now that you're not in love with and you want to learn something else, don't be asking to sit in meetings. Ask how you can help. I want to learn more about this. What can I do to help you that wouldn't get in the way, that I can add some value and get some experience? That's the way to do it. Take that with you as well. Hopefully this video helps. Again, my name is Bobby Dietz. Feel free to check out some of the other videos on the channel. And let me know if you got any questions or comments down below. I'd love to interact a little bit. So have a good day. We'll see you guys in the next video.